Now, the rising sign is what tells us what your physical body and your brain are like. So your mental tendencies, but also your physical appearance. It has to come from within.
Reach for the stars, 'cause we're aiming high.
It has to come from within. It has to come from within.
Okay, so today we are going to be talking about rising signs and how it affects your physical appearance. Today we are talking about fire signs rising. So that's Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Now, the rising sign is what tells us what your physical body and your brain are like. So your mental tendencies, but also your physical appearance. This is important because most often you meet people who are like, can you guess my sign? And then you're looking at them trying to figure out, what's what. And, you're looking at Becky and you're like, okay, broad shoulders, big neck, Taurus. She's like, no, I'm a Cancer. You're like, ooh. So, to avoid all that, you can simply explain to Becky that the misunderstanding was because she's probably a Taurus rising. And that's where she got the big old neck and the big broad shoulders. So, that's what happens, is people don't realize that the physical body is a combination of all the 12 houses rolled up into the rising sign. And then that's really how we start to describe how we look. Now, there are other factors here. Factors like what phase the moon was in, whether it was going from full to new, because then at that point we might have to realize that it was actually the descendant that describes you more than the ascendant. If there are planets located near or conjunct your ascendant, that's going to have an effect. So there are many other factors at play here, plus your sun, plus your moon. These all sort of have their own way of adding their energy to the way that you look. So there is absolutely no way to say for sure that this is exactly how such and such a person looks because their rising sign was here. But we can get a good idea of how somebody might look based on just the sign that's rising. Like I said, barring a few factors. With that in mind, let's get into the descriptions. Aries rising is typically middle height or a bit taller, sharp eyesight, darker sandy hair. I am an Aries rising. Whiskers may be a bit sandy, maybe a little bit of a ruddy complexion. At times going bald at the temples. Let's hope that ain't happening to me. With a long, narrow face. And that's pretty much just the basic explanation as far as Aries is concerned. Leo rising's typical appearance is like this. A bit taller, large muscles and bones, big broad shoulders, gray-like eyes. I am not a Leo rising, so my eyes don't count. Leo rising is also with that ruddy complexion. And then Leo rising gets that square body build around middle age. And they have a light hair color. And finally, to conclude the fire signs rising, Sagittarius rising's typical appearance goes like this. Again, a bit taller, must be a fire thing. Slender, brown or chestnut hair. Their eyes are typically blue or hazel. They have sort of an oval face. A fresh complexion. And also maybe some inclination toward temple bones. Just like Aries. So that is a basic breakdown and description of all the fire signs rising. And now you know why it's kind of difficult to explain to somebody how they look based off of just their sun sign. The sun doesn't necessarily rule how the physical body will look, although it does play a part. So that concludes this video. To check out water rising, earth rising, air rising signs, I'll post those with a brief description because it's just fun and it's cool to play around with. And like, subscribe for more content.